back. So in this video, what I thought I would do is just go over some of the things that I should have covered in the previous video. I always seem to forget something, so this is my opportunity to just do a follow-up video in regards to the EP that I have coming out. So I took notes so I don't lose track. So I'm gonna go over a few things I didn't cover in the previous video, and I got some other things I can add to it as well, as far as a lot of the questions that you guys have asked over, a period of time that I just haven't really covered, or I covered it, but I was just kind of brief with it. So I can always update some of these things that I'm going to go over. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to go over with, as far as vocals go on this EP, I'm going to be handling most of it. Mike from Blood of the Wolf actually tried out, if you want to say. He ended up laying vocals over it that I was just beyond impressed with, and it's like the more that I listen to it, the more that I like it. So I'm going to leave that entirely as is. He wrote the lyrics for it, and that's going to be, his, like, where he shines, and I'm going to share that in this video so you guys can check it out and see what you think. I think he did a phenomenal job. Like, I was just beyond impressed. I was like so happy to hear that. But as far as the other vocals go, I'm going to be handling the rest of them. I have some ideas in mind with as far as vocal patterns and things like that on these songs that I created. And that's like another thing too is, a lot of times you can make and break a song in a lot of cases if your delivery just doesn't seem like there's ways that you can actually make a song stronger or weaker depending on where you put the vocals and things like that. So I want to make sure that I got plenty of time to not only write the lyrics that I'm going to write in mind for these songs that I have, but also try to get the right vocal patterns to where the song is a lot more memorable, a lot more catchy. So like I said, I'm going to be handling all the other vocal duties. The production, I'm a sucker for, like I said in the previous video, old school. I like that sound, the more scooped kind of sound like that. Not super squeaky clean perfect. I don't like that. I like hearing certain like string noise or where something isn't exactly spot on the grid. That's another thing. I'm not going to be quantizing this shit. Like I just don't like what they've done with a lot of metal as time went on with technology and just trying to make everything sound so inhuman. It just becomes very mechanical, very robotic, and I don't want that in my music. I just think it loses a lot of its humanity, so to speak. It just sounds like everybody else. And this isn't pop music. This is metal. I think it's meant to be more primitive, more raw. So that's what I'm going for on this. And then future recordings, same thing. I'm not going for, absolutely godlike perfect production. I don't want that. I want it to sound like a human actually recorded it and performed it. And that's exactly what I did. And even if I knew how to do that kind of stuff, I wouldn't do it anyway. Because really all I know how to do when I create my music is plug into my interface, or if I'm, micing through a cab or something and recording, that's as far as it goes for me. I don't know any of like the bells and whistles and tricks to, sound like I played through it absolutely perfect, because I'm definitely far from the most perfect guitar player. And, we've all been to shows. We've seen all of our favorite bands perform live, and we're all human. We make mistakes, and that's okay. They keep creating this like false persona online with Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all these other platforms that like everybody's just impenetrable and perfect. Like it's not true. It's not true at all. There's a lot of fake shit going on out there. And I just refuse to do that. I think this shit should have its raw feel to it, its human feel. So that's as far as the production goes on it, that's how I plan to keep it. Not only this recording, but future recordings. And then as far as like the recording stuff that I'm using, strictly a lot of the stuff that you guys have been hearing, all the most recent stuff, I've just been using from Bogren Digital. Their amp plugins, their amp simulators, I think they're phenomenal. Like I used to record the first wave of amp simulators I was using. This is going way back though. I started with like the Line 6. I forgot what it was even called. But those first recordings, those early days, I didn't even know how to edit like my stems and stuff like that. As far as like transients and line and stuff, I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. So that stuff was just completely, like one takes and raw. And then the sound wasn't completely there. But once I dabbled in, I started getting into some of the more future like the more current stuff. Like my second plugin was like the Fortin Nameless from Neural DSP, and then it was the Archetype Gojira. Those were enough to get me by, but honestly, they still had this fake nasally, like the mid range is so high on a lot of these, just about all of these plugins that you just can't get rid of it. And I've tried so much to try to like those plugins, and I just don't. I think they still sound fake, and they're just way too much mid range. It sounds like somebody's like just breathing in your freaking ears, and I hate that sound. I'm such an old school guy. Like when I pull stuff up, when I start editing, even with these modern plugins, so far this Bogren Digital has been the best for what sound I'm going for, and just what I hear out of it. It actually sounds like a real amp. It feels like a real amp when I'm playing. So, like even with their plugin, even though it's a lot more user friendly for what I do and that sound I'm going for, I still gotta basically just create like just a huge freaking gash, as far as scooping my mids out, just to try to get closer to that old school solid state amp kind of tone. And I did, by the way, I reached out to Bogren after they let me try out one of their most recent plugins, which is that S093. I still got to jump in and dabble with it a little bit more, because I've only got maybe 15-20 minutes with it under my belt. It does sound pretty good as far as that 15-20 minutes that I did spend on it, but I got to dive in again and just do some more tweaking and kind of just learn the ropes of how that one actually works. But I did reach out to whoever I was in contact with who sent me the plugin. I basically said, I don't know if you guys take requests or any feedback from your customers, but I'm just going to put it out there. I have not seen one person cater to the old school death metal kind of sound, and those people who like that sound, because that's been actually making a comeback the past few years. Bands like Skeletal Remains. I just checked out Coffins the other day. I think those guys are absolutely sick. I can't stop listening to their music. I love that primitive raw sound where just nothing, it doesn't sound perfect and all that shit. Like I was like just saying previously, that's a sound that I really want to go for. And a lot of other people, you can see it when you go on the used market, when you look at those solid state amps that a lot of those bands at the time were using. There's a huge influx in a big fan base for that sound. The amps that come to mind would be like the Marshall Valve State 8100, definitely the Ampeg VH140C. I got the demo one a couple years ago and I freaking loved it, but it was just out of my price range, and especially for how my ability to record stuff and just what I have to do with my situation, as far as like a recording landscape goes. I think if somebody came out with one of those plugins, it would just be a game changer. I would be the first in line to get that. So I just threw that out there. Like I'd love to see a VH140C amp simulator or one of the Marshall 8100s. Yeah, so that was like basically my love letter. I would love to. I'm sure a lot of you guys would want that too. And just waiting to hear back and see what they say on it. If it's a yes or a no, at least that's the one thing I find is like the answer is always no for the questions that you don't ask. So I just wanted to get that out there in front of them and see what they had to say about it. But yeah, Bogren, if you're watching this video or anybody who's affiliated with them, I would love to see that. That would be the first in line for sure. And then as far as like the writing process, a lot of you guys ask me, how I come up with all these riffs and these ideas and stuff. Now, when it comes time to write and create music, it's got to be just dead silence. I'm not listening to any music like leading up to it. It's literally like I plug into my amp and I just start kind of like warming up and just kind of going over things, just slowly but surely building up, as far as being warmed up and everything. And I'm just kind of noodling, and then all of a sudden an idea will come up out of nowhere. And then ideas when I'm taking a shit or whatever, like I'm walking away from like if a commercial comes on and I'm watching YouTube or something, one of those commercials comes on, some of the background music might spawn an idea. I've had that happen a couple times, but I'll hear like as I'm walking away from the TV, just some kind of like register will go off where all of a sudden a pattern will go off in my head, but it'll be in like a death metal or a thrash metal kind of way. And then as soon as I get done with whatever I'm doing, I'm like, all right, I'm going to play around with this idea and see what I come up with as far as like the metal version of what I just heard. And I've done that many times where it's come off a commercial, whether it's on the radio, it's on the TV. And it turns into one riff, and then it turns into like maybe 3 riffs, just depending on how I'm feeling it out. But yeah, I always got to shut all the other music that I'm listening to completely out of what I'm doing, because when it's writing time, I'm trying not to sound like the previous bands or anything else. But if it ends up being that way, um, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's pretty hard to be original in this kind of music, or this day and age for that matter. But last thing I want to do is rip off of somebody. I just want to continue to be inspired and influenced by the stuff that we love listening to, but without ripping each other off, kind of thing. So that's what I do as far as writing goes. I just make sure I'm not listening to really anything leading up to that, and it's just dead quiet, and it's just me and my guitar and my amplifier. That's it. And then last but not least, you guys asked me what kind of guitar picks I use. This makes people laugh all the time, especially like when I was on the tour bus with the Suffocation guys, and I pulled out one of my picks out of my wallet, because I keep a couple of my broken-in picks in my wallet for when I'm around a guitar store or something. I have to go in and get some strings, or I'm just curious, check out, see what they got. So I use these are the Dunlop USA's, the 2mm. These are the ones I've been using forever. Been using these pretty much ever since I started. And I don't know if you guys can, I don't even know if it's zooming in on that or not. I guess I'll find out after I watch this video and make an ass of myself as I'm trying to do this to you guys. But if you can tell, it's got a certain kind of wear to it, and that's what I really, really like. Newer picks I don't do well with. I just try to kind of saw into them and create that kind of broken in curvature on the picks, and then that prevents me from getting that scratchy kind of sound when I'm picking. Yeah, these things, I don't like having flex in my picks, so I try to get the picks as sturdy as possible, and these 2mm are perfect. Actually, when my hand, because that's another thing I'm going to talk about, is the nerve damage that I have in my hand. Some of you guys may or may not know about that, but I'll go over that again. So this one here, I can't remember who gave me this pick. Maybe it was Terrence, I can't remember, but I've had this pick for a little while, and it's one of the Max Grip Jazz 3s. And I thought this would help me because every now and then I'll just have a bad night of trying to play, and I got to slow down or whatever, and then it's like when I can't play the way I want to play, I just end up hanging the guitar back up and I go back to doing something else. But this one is a 2mm, but I just don't like the size of it. It's just like way too freaking small. I just like I gotta have some meat on the bone. So that's what I like right there. Like, these are just my go-tos. And no, but with the grip on this, I thought this would help a little bit. And yeah, it just ended up, I like what I like, and I just always go back to what I like. So that pick just didn't cut it for me. No pick ever cuts it for me except for those 2mm picks. So, and as far as, let me show you guys with a guitar. As far as my technique goes, the word technique is kind of funny to me because I have some of the worst technique you could possibly imagine, because I was a self-taught guitar player, and watching those videos when I was a kid of Slayer and Metallica, those guys you don't know these things because you're a little kid and you're just watching the music video, but they would just be moving a lot more than they really do when they're actually playing. But a lot of that's just for impact and just to make the music videos look more intense. But I didn't know any better. I thought that was the most efficient way, and that's how they play that fast. So I was kind of one of these kids, instead of just moving with just my my wrist and my fingers, I was like using my whole arm. And I didn't have anybody, especially back then when metal was just not that popular and not a lot of guys were doing it. I had nobody to show me how to play or anything. So I just taught myself how to develop my ability to be able to play that fast, and that's kind of what came out. But as far as like later on, as time went on, the more that I played, the more experience I got being a guitar player. I remember watching interviews with Mick Thompson along the way, and he always talked about the pivot. And I started doing that, and that helped keep a little more control of my uncontrolling picking. Yeah, because it's a little chaotic, as you guys have seen. But hey, it works for me. It always has. But yeah, I'll just basically anchor my ring finger right here in between the pickups. It's unfortunate on a matte finish, so I'll end up swirling out an area on my guitars, but it is what it is. That's just that became like a more efficient way of as far as my picking technique goes, to keep that control and speed out of the way that I'm switching strings and just keeping my speed intact. But yeah, I'll pivot, and then I kind of pick like this, almost like Rob Barrett picks, got that banana thumb kind of thing. So yeah, as far as picking technique goes, guys, that's the way that I do it. And I don't like use a click track or anything. To me, it's a bunch of stuff that's just going to kind of slow me down and keep me from like coming up with riffs. I'd rather spend my time writing riffs than sitting to a click track and basically trying to relearn the guitar or break out of a habit that I've had for 30 plus years. That's about how long have I been playing now? It's been actually 31 years pretty much at this point that I've been playing guitar. So as far as trying to break out of a habit like that, I'm not interested. I'm more interested in just playing the music. And as far as like other things, music theory is not my thing. I never got into the music theory, nor did I ever want to learn it. It just looks like a bunch of just complicated shit that'll just stress me out. So all the stuff that you see is just all from just my self-taught experience and no music theory whatsoever. I have no idea. It's just a foreign language to me, and I'm not interested in learning it, to be honest. So my theory is if it sounds cool, it is. That's what I stick with. So is there anything else? I'm probably leaving something out. I just tend to do that all the time, right? Because going on 42, my brain's just not the same as it once was. Yep, you forgot something, Kev. You forgot to talk about your nerve damage. This started like right around August, September of 2023. Those of you guys may or may not know. I've talked about it a handful of times when I post my Instagram reels and things like that. But as far as video form, actually talking about this, so back during that period, that August, September of 2023, I was waking up for work one morning and just stretching like we always do when we're getting ready to get out of bed. As soon as I got my arm back, I just felt and heard this loud pow in my rhomboid, and then the pain just instantaneously shot through my shoulder, down my forearm, and then finished out through my fingers. Like I lost all the feeling along this, and of course I got freaked out, didn't know what the hell happened, never heard of such a thing. So I started just best I could just researching it, and it was intense pain for quite a while. It was a handful of weeks before I could actually just start like kind of moving on, like just feeling kind of normal, be able to do my everyday activities. Definitely took time off from the gym and all that kind of stuff. Guitar, obviously, I think, if I remember correctly, I think it took maybe 2.5 months before I could actually kind of play something. So that was just a shitty time in 2023, but many sessions of being with a chiropractor. I tried a massage, like a deep tissue massage. I was kind of like on the fence about that because you got to like really, really watch what you do and be careful of what steps you take to try to start making that stuff feel better. But this has been about 1.5 years I've been dealing with this now. So I have my good days and my bad days. So back to what I was saying earlier in the video about having the ability to hold on to my picks, because these don't have any grip on them. Now I could, actually this was a suffocation tip and I haven't even tried it yet, and I need to just kind of throw some like gashes in the pick just to kind of, or sand it across like the concrete just to get that, rough up the pick and give yourself a little more grip. I got to try that. The snow ever fucking melts out there. But yeah, these ones I thought that they would help, but they just didn't. That pick is just, it's too small. I just need to have a better version of that. So I'm gonna give that a try. Just sand it across the cement and see if that helps a little bit. But yeah, that's another thing that I have to do too, is I got to try to properly like build my training regimens around that too. And it's hard for me, especially all the years that I've been bodybuilding. It's just one of those things. It's in my blood where when I go in the gym, I gotta just do my best all the time. And I hate lifting lighter weights. Shit drives me freaking crazy. I won't, like when I go into the gym, I just want to kick ass all the time. So it's just like I gotta really watch myself, and I have like tightened up my disciplines as far as like knowing when to back off if something isn't feeling right, and just instead of like trying to push forward, like if I think something's about to happen, I'll just not continue the set. I'll just hang it up and go do something else. So there's been over the years, there's quite a few exercises that I just can't do anymore, whether it's related to this or a couple of the other, minor injuries or a little bit more than minor injuries that I've had along the way. Like I can't deadlift and barbell squat anymore. It's been a handful of years since I've done those, but just I got to be mindful of what I do from this point on, especially, you know, I'm going to be 42 in freaking June, so that's coming up. And it just takes its toll. I knew it would. When I started bodybuilding when I was 14 years old, I knew that just how hard I had to train. There was probably going to be a price to pay to have the body that I wanted, but I didn't care. Like, I just, however hard I had to work at it, I was just willing to do that. So, I mean, everything that we do in life just kind of has its price. And the combination of, so I do construction work also. I'm a drywall finisher, and you know, I hang drywall. I do all that stuff. So that, and then, you know, the occasional like other jobs right at the demo out a job, and like swinging the hammers all day, the gym, playing guitar like I do all these years. So all that together has kind of gotten me to this point. So I can't be a hypocrite and say the gym didn't do it, because yeah, that's not true. Just that everything as a whole just kind of caused me to get to this point. So yeah, I have my good and my bad days when it comes to my picking and stuff like that. But those weeks when I lift lighter, when I'm just trying to like take it easy, I do a little bit better, or I'll have more feeling in my hand where I can play the way that I want to play. But those weeks that I'm really like excited and like trying to push myself in the gym more and keep making progress, trying to make progress at this point, I find a lot of times if I'm lifting too heavy or I'm doing a little bit too much volume, it'll set me back as far as the guitar playing goes. So I have to try to find that balance between the two. So that's kind of been a learning curve for me at this point. It's just something, you know, fairly new that I've been dealing with. But I'm hoping, I've read so many different mixed things depending on the severity of a nerve damage. It could take months, it could take years. Yeah, obviously I'm in the avenue where it's taken probably years, unfortunately, but you know, it's just something I got to deal with. But I try my best each time when I pick up the guitar to just try to hash through it. Terrence really motivated me when I was talking to him about this on the tour bus, when he just said, just push through it, man. Just, you know, don't let it get you down. Don't let it stop you. Because it definitely has done that many times when I would pick up the guitar and when I can't play that out the way that I want to play, I just get frustrated. It like freaking bums me out, and I just put it down and I go do something else. But when I really just stopped and I pushed myself, you know, just being around, especially the feedback that I got from, you know, the Suffo guys and then some of the other guys that run the tour bus, the friends, like the sound guys and things like that. Just everybody was just really excited to hear my music, and that really motivated me. So like the next day and then beyond that, just the weeks that followed after that tour, I was just playing for hours, just continually practicing, pushing myself, and I got that influx of inspiration to write more material, and it's almost like the music was easier to play at that point. So if you guys made it this far, this is the song I want you to check out. This is the previous song that I uploaded, and I hope you like the vocals. I hope you like the song. I hope, like, any of you guys that did not catch the full version of it, check it out right here. Many lives expired.
your skull. Bloodlust, the fires and death of fire. Screaming your unprotected mind. Savage, my will to strangulate.